Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Planet for Tech. I hope you all are doing great and learning lots by watching all the continuous episode of the series Python Beginner to Master. So guys, till now we have completed 15 episodes of this series and today in the 16th episode I am going to describe you the new concept that is the function in the Python. So this is the part 2 because we in the previous episode we have covered the few topics of this function. So and today in this remaining topics I'm going to cover in this episode in episode 16. So let's start those. So in a previous episode we have seen few points like what is the definition of function and different type of function there we have already watched and how we can create the function, how we can call the function. So those we already covered. Now in this episode we are going to understand the different variety of arguments, how we can pass the different type of arguments there. So the first one we are going to understand the default value arguments. So let's see what this is, and after that we will see the arbitrary arguments, named argument, arbitrary named argument, and the list as an argument. So this all we are going to understand one by one. So let's start the definite example first. So guys, you can see here I have created one function here. So in that this function is taking two argument a and b, where the value of b we have defined here only itself in the place of the formal argument. So here you can see the default value of this b is what? So this is the default value. You can say default value of b is nothing but 13, and we don't have the default value for variable a, argument a. So this is the block, and here at the time of calling we are just passing only one single value. So this value is going to be used or mapped by the variable a, and the b value it will take the default value. So the output will become what? 12 plus 13. So in case of default value arguments, we don't need to pass all the arguments every time. If we are not passing the default value argument, so it will take the default value from here only. So let me show you how this works. You can see here the result is showing as a 25 as usual. If I am passing some other values, it is showing the result. What happens if I am passing second value as well? So if I am passing second value, so it will override the default value and it will take the latest value, what is 12. So the value of b is going to be 12 here. You can see here it is showing 132. So this is all about the default value. So this way we can pass the default value to the function. So this way this is the type of default argument. Now come to the next point, that is this is the second variety of argument passing. So here we have arbitrary arguments. So we have to understand what the arbitrary arguments is and what is the use of these arbitrary arguments when we have to use this. Let me show you. So guys, arbitrary arguments is needed where we are not sure like how many number of arguments we have to pass. So we are not sure about for how many number of argument we have to pass. Then only we use the arbitrary arguments. We are not sure how many arguments need to be passed. This is the situation only. In this situation, what we do basically, we use the arbitrary arguments. So how we can do that? So for that you have to assign one variable here, and before the variable you have to give asterisk sign. Once it is given asterisk sign, so this arguments plays a role of list. In the arbitrary arguments, this argument variable play the role of list. So let's suppose if I am passing two value from here, so how we can get that? So as I have told you, this is going to play a role of list. So we can get the value by using the index args. So the first value will come here with the help of this, and in the same way args in the second value we can get this. So you have to remember this point. In arbitrary arguments we have to take care two things. The first point is we have to give asterisk before the variable name, and we have to give single variable here. and at the time of calling we can pass n number of argument, how many you want. But to access this argument we have to consider like this argument is going to behave like a list. List data structure we have already covered in the previous video. Now let's see, we are accessing its first element and second element. Let me show you its output, how it looks. So you can see here the output is showing properly 132. So let me take a simple example so that you can calculate it and you can understand. So the result is 25. So this way guys, this is the arbitrary argument. So I hope you understood like arbitrary arguments are used when we are not sure like how many number of arguments we have to pass, we just use it. Now look about the next argument variety, that is the named argument. So what this named argument is, so let's suppose we have two value here a and b. So these are the two arguments name, and we don't know like you can say we are just going to pass these values a plus b like that, and at the time of calling we forgot the sequence, then how we can make it. So let me show you the another example, then only you can understand it a better way what is the importance of this named argument. So guys, in this example you can see here I have created another function, that is the display emp. It is going to display the name of and name and salary of the employee here. So you can see we have two argument, name and salary. The first argument is the name and the second argument is salary. So here you have to keep remember like what is the sequence of these arguments. The first argument is name and the second argument is salary. So this you have to remember every time, then only you can call this function properly. Let's think, if you forgot the sequence and if you called it like this, then what issue it will create. Just let me show you. So in this case you can see here the name is showing as a 10,000 and salary is showing as a Ramesh. So this is the problem. So to overcome this problem, what solution is there? So for that we can use the named argument concept. So what this named arguments? Named argument means we are not bothering about the sequence of arguments. We just need to remember the name. So here I am going to make it like that. Salary equals to like 10,000 and name equals to this. So here we are assigning the value to the argument name. So we don't need to worry about the sequence. Only need to think we have to pass the value to the particular argument. So this is what about the named arguments. Let me show you the output here. You can see here name is showing Ramesh, salary is showing 10,000. So this is the solution. Uh, you can see here. So this is all about the named arguments. Now let's see the another part. So another way of passing argument is arbitrary named arguments. So what this arbitrary named argument? So guys, few seconds back we have just seen like arbitrary arguments. So arbitrary arguments are used when we are not sure like how many number of arguments we are going to pass. So same thing is happening here as well. But the thing is here named. So here you can see in this arbitrary arguments we were just passing the values and that argument was behaving like a list. But here whatever we will pass that will be the key pair value. Here we have to pass the key pair value, and if you remember in the previous episode we use the key pair value in a structure, that structure is called as dictionary. So here this arguments is going to behave like a dictionary instead of list. Let me show you. And one more thing you have to notice here, here we have to pass double asterisk instead of the single asterisk. So here let me show you here. So we have to pass double asterisk and we can make it data. And this time we don't know like how many data we are going to have. So we are just use this as a named arbitrary arguments. So named arbitrary arguments means we are going to pass n number of data in a key pair value, as we are passing the key pair value, so definitely this argument is going to behave as a dictionary. So to process the key pair value, Python is having the data structure that is called as dictionary. So here you can see, so I want the name first, so data, and inside this we can pass the name, and in the same way data, and we can pass the salary. Now let's see how it works. You can see here it is working properly, Ramesh and salary. Let's suppose if I want to pass another key pair value, that is location. Location is Bangalore. Now you can see here we are passing three arguments, but here we are having only one argument. What it means? It means it is just providing us facility to pass any number of argument, but every time this argument are going to be accessed as a dictionary element because we are passing the key pair value here. So the next line we can use just for the location, you can see here. So here only need to pass the key here. So you can see this is working. Sorry. Now you can see the output is showing properly. Name is Ramesh, salary is this and this. So this is the you can say the most powerful way of passing the argument, because here we don't need to remember the sequence, we don't need to remember the number of arguments. We can pass n number of arguments whatever we want, and we can pass these arguments on the basis of key pair value, so it becomes more easily understandable because we are deciding like what we have to pass. So this is all about this the fourth type of argument passing. Now let's see the passing list as an argument. So in this we have to, what we have to do, instead of passing the any argument or data, we can pass the list as well. So let me show you how we can do that. Simply you have to call this let me show calculate, or you can say print square. So this I have created one function. It is going to print the square of list whatever we will pass it here. So for x in data, so here we have to print its square value. So to print the square, what we need, we just need x into x. So this we want every time. So here I'm going to call it. So let me send one value there. Let's suppose I'm going to send one list like 2 and 3. Now let me run it. You can see here the value is showing as a 4 and 9. So here we have passed the list as an argument. So this is what about passing list as an argument to the given function. So here we have seen the 5 different way of passing argument to the function. Now come to the next point, that is the pass statements. Why this statement is used? You can see here its name is itself pass. It means we have to bypass the situation if we are not having confirmed like what we have to do. Let's suppose I have created this definition, and I don't know like what I have to write here because I am going to decide it in the future. But the function I have created right now, so I don't know like what I have to write. This is possible. We can create the empty method in other programming language like Java, or you can say in a PHP as well. But in Python, it is not possible to create the empty method. So what we can do there? What we can do here? So for this situation, we can use the pass keyword. So this pass keyword basically does nothing. It simply bypass the uh, function execution. So you can see here, so this is useful when you want to create the empty function. That time it is useful. Let me show you. It is doing nothing. That this is what I have shown you. Let me show you. You can see here it is doing nothing. So this is the use of pass. So this pass keyword we use basically when we are not sure like what we have to do, and we are not allowed to create the default method in a Python. We are not allowed to create the empty method. It's not default, it is empty method. We are not allowed to create the empty method in Python. So there we need to use the pass keyword. Now let's see the next topic, that is recursion. What this recursion means? Recursion means function call itself. Function calls itself. When a function call itself, that is called recursion. So this is basically used to get any logical computation where we want some expression to be executed every time. So there is a very famous example you can understand, the factorial. So factorial calculation we can use for the recursion. So let me show you how we can use the recursion. The function is going to call itself again and again till that particular condition is achieved. So let me show you there in the example. We are going to calculate the factorial of any value with the help of recursion. So guys, here you can see we have created one function, that is the factorial function. So this function, inside this function we are just checking few conditions, like if the past value is either 0 or 1, because we know like the factorial value for 0 and 1 is definitely 1. That is why we have checked. Other than this number, if there is a another number, so we are going to check it here in this return. You can see. So here again we are calling this and we are calling this factorial method again. So this is the definition of recursion. When a function call itself is called as a recursion. So you can see here in the line number 3 we have defined the factorial, and this function is calling the same function inside its own definition in the line number 7, you can see here. So this is called as the recursion. So let me show you the output. So you can see here it is showing the output this way. One moment. I think we have done some mistake. Let me check it why it is happening. Oh, here we have printing the factorial output. We have to print only factorial output. So here you can see I'm printing this output. So this was the mistake. You can see here factorial is showing as a 120. If we are passing another value like 4, so it will give us the value of 4 factorial. You can see that is 24. So this is all about the recursion in this itself Python. The function call itself, this is called as the recursion. So in this episode, this much guys, and in the next episode, episode number 16 or 17, I'm going to describe you the new topic of the Python. In that we are going to discuss about the class and objects, how to create the class and what is the objects, and apart from this we will see the difference between the method and function, and we can also discuss on about their different scope of the function, local scope and the global scope. So those all we are going to understand in the coming episode. So guys, stay tuned and keep watching all the episode regularly, and it is recommending I'm recommending you to do the practical day wise, day to day daily practical, because this is the only way to learn the thing gradually and to become the master. So this is the objective of this series, running this series, that is the Python beginner to master. So guys, if you have any query or question, you can ask in the comment. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to get the latest notification. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.